Hi everyone, it's Cindy Rue with Series 2 on our multi-variety page mini album. And now we're going to cut the elements for each page. And to do 4 pages, you'll need 4 sheets of paper. But right now we're just going to do the 3 elements, the cascade, the gatefold, and the flap with the library pocket, because I'm going to save that last page for the last episode. Okay? For each, you'll just need 3 sheets of paper, 8.5 by 11. Now, the first one is your gatefold. And we're going to take and measure up, holding at the 8.5 by 11 top, go in 5 1/4 and cut all the way down. This will be your gatefold. Then this 3 1/4 section, you're going to measure in 4 5/8 and cut that. This will be your library pocket. And this you can use for tags and cutting that in and making little tags or whatever. Alright, so let's cut that one first. We take our 8.5 by 11 and we measure in 5 1/4 and we cut. This, I usually take a pencil because it all gets covered with paper, and you can write, put a G on it so you'll know it's for gatefold. This piece we're going to measure in 4 5/8, and we're going to cut this, and this is an LP, your library pocket. Okay, and this is scrap to save for tags. You can use it this way, you can cut it in half, whatever. Alright, so that page is done and cut. This page you're going to measure in 5 1/4 and you're going to cut down. Then you're going to take this page, this section, and cut it 4 1/4, basically cutting it in half. This will be your flap that holds the library pocket, and this will be the insert for your gatefold. Now that leaves you 5 3/4 by an 8.5. You're going to cut that in half at 4 1/4. That gives you 2 of your cascade pieces. Okay, so let's do that. We go 5 1/4 on the 11-inch side. Okay, 11-inch. 5 1/4. Set this aside. We're going to just cut it in half because this is the 8.5. It's 4 1/4. Alright, this will be your flap, and you can put an F on it, and this will be your insert gates, GI for gatefold insert. Okay, now we have the 5 3/4 wide, and we're going to cut that at 4 1/4. So we have 2 of our cascade elements, and I just put a C on those. Okay, so that one's done. Now here's the next page. We're going to go 5 3/4 in, cut down. We're going to divide that in half. Alright, 5 3/4. Set this aside. Measure in 4 1/4. Okay, this is another cascade, so you have all 3 elements of your cascade. So now we have, this could be a pocket or a tag for your insert, your short pockets. That's what these here will be. Okay, you can set these aside and just put them with your scraps to make all your tags. Alright, so that's all there is to those. Now we're going to score them. And we'll start with our gatefold. Again, I will have all these guides posted on my blog. Our gatefold, we're going to take it and laying the the 11" across the top. Go in 2 3/4, score. And then I turn it and score it 2 3/4 again. Alright, so I'm going to score it 2 3/4. I rotate 2 3/4. The reason I do that is if you've ever done, sometimes you've counted backwards and you think you got it, you haven't. This way I'm sure I've got it. You're going to fold it in, and they match and meet perfectly. Okay? See? Cute. Now, the little tip I have for this, take one of your sides and do a little mark at the top. That's your center. I take my 1" punch and do a finger pull. By marking that, I knew where my center was. I knew exactly where to go. Alright, so here's my gatefold element. Okay, and remember, somewhere over here, here it is, I have my insert. Okay, so we can set that aside. That will go with one of the pages, and it will end up getting glued on and attached just like so. But before you glue anything, I'm going to give you a little tip. You'll want to ink all these pieces while they're all loose. It's easier to get to all the edges. If you're going to ink, you want to do it before you glue everything together. That includes your pages. You can go ahead and ink while they're together, but before you add these extra elements, go ahead and do all your inking. Your cascade pieces, you have 1, 2, and 3. You're going to go with the 4 1/4 across the top and score it a half. I'm going to do that at each one, for each one of them. Okay. Now these are ready for you to ink. You're going to fold these over, these little 1/2" areas over, crease it well. Okay, you don't need to trim or do anything like that. You can round the corners down here if you'd like. It's up to you. It's personal preference. But go ahead and round the corners if you're going to. But go ahead and ink all of these. And go ahead, you can fold these all over and crease them. Okay? And there's your cascade pieces, 3 of them. Go with another page. Now we have the library pocket. The flap part, the one we labeled F, you're going to put the 4 1/4 to the top. You're going to go in a 1/2" and score. I go ahead and trim this because it's going to fit down into the pocket. I just take a little sliver off each corner. Okay? Fold that over, crease it well, and you can go ahead and ink this also. Your library pocket piece, you're going to put that so the 4 5/8 is to the top. You're going to score it 1/2", rotate, score across the bottom, 1/2", score across the top, or the other side, 1/2". Alright? That's it for the scoring. On this library pocket, where your crosshairs are, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to angle cut that whole corner off, leaving that corner where those crosshairs are. Just go right across that crosshair. Take out that corner. what you're doing, and is you're making a mitered corner for this pocket. I'll show you that in a moment as I flip up these little tabs. See that? Little mitered corner. Okay. If you didn't trim it enough and it overlaps a little bit, just go open it back up, trim that area again. You don't want them touching. You're removing that bulk so it'll lay nice on this flap. And the way it goes onto the pocket, I'll take out this big photo mat. It's going to slide in, depending if you want this to be the front of your page or the flap. I like to have the flap on the front. I fit it down in there. It should line up perfectly. Okay? Then this will get glued onto here. Alright? If you want, you can glue it on the front. It's up to you. That's the beauty of this pattern of mine. I want you to experiment and do a little bit for you. Make it your own. Alright? Did you notice how I have a pin in here? I just stick it down under the label. I always have a pin ready for that glue. Alright, now you're going to smear glue, put some glue on here. Not a lot, not heavy. I just do a little thin glue. Slide it in here. Fold it over before you press down, because you want that to have room to fold over flat. Okay, so there may be some glue here. Just take that damp paper towel or baby wipe, excuse me, and there you go. You got your flap. Again, you're going to ink this. I should have inked it a little bit before. I'm just using a little vintage photo on here. I'm just going to do this edge where the pocket's going to go. Since I didn't ink this edge before, I'm going to go in here and just rub up and down. Alright, here we go. And I'm not worrying about the bottom so much because that's where our little pocket will go. Now on the front side of the pocket, I'm going to ink. Now the beauty of using black paper or dark chocolate brown, you don't ink it. So you're saving yourself some steps, okay? But if you want this vintage look like I've got going on this new album I'm in the process of making, inking is what you need. And this will get glued right down, matching up this corner along this edge right there. You're going to go on your back side where the miters are, get that edge, get this edge, go in here. Same with this. Alright. Okay. Now I take it and I hold it like this. I match up this outer edge and corner, and you should fall right in place across the bottom then. Alright, but I match this edge and that corner up. Alright, pressing down, getting that glue to adhere well. And double check inside here. Sometimes the glue squeezes out and you just have a little bit on that top edge. You don't want to seal that pocket shut. Okay, there you go. I'd finish inking all this right around the edges. That's how easy this gatefold comes together. I mean, the flap with the library pocket will come together. Okay? I may go back in and ink a little more. I'm just doing a quickie job here. And you may like to use walnut instead of vintage photo, but I didn't want it too dark. And I really do like the vintage photo on a lot of my projects. Vintage photo and walnut stain are probably my favorite two inks to do my distressing in. I think it's just because of my color choices that I use. I have a lot of greens and blues and browns. I don't do a lot of the pastels. I do more of the muted and vintage things. Alright. And it won't matter that I'm getting it all over here. I just want to get that top edge. Okay. There you go. Go ahead and, now, because I'm going to round this corners on this, so I'm not going to ink it right now. I'll wait. Slide in there. Once you get, like I said, this paper is very heavy and very coarse. Once I get the other paper matted onto this, it'll slide in and out real slick. Matter of fact, I can show you here. There's my flap one. Slides in and out real easy. Not a lot of sticking. Okay? So, then your next step for this page is measuring your areas and matting them with paper. You can use cardstock, you can use thin paper, you can stamp it, you can ink it, whatever you would like to do. And you're going to cut some little tags. Maybe you want some short little journaling tags, maybe you want a wider tag. You have plenty of little scraps that you can make into tags. This you would cut, measure, and mat also. This area, you may choose not to mat it at all, but you could mat it. Just allow yourself maybe a 1/2 inch to tuck down into here. Okay? So go ahead and do all your flap pieces. And we'll come back and do the gatefold next. Alright? Happy scrapping!